Fuckity fuck the shit right up.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another edition of Join the Chat. This is the place where every single voice matters, where your opinion is important, where you're empowered to express yourself, and it's a free and open space for you to be able to speak, and not only that, but also to be heard. We are here, and we are also on the YouTube link today. So I know there's a link in the corner on the top of the page there. So if you feel that you want to join with us and join the chat and come in studio with us, feel free to do so. You will have to click on that link or subscribe to that link, and then we will let you into the forum, and we will be able to have a conversation with you as you have a conversation with us as you join the chat. I have some lovely co-hosts with us this afternoon. I have the ever so cool Andre, who is here again. We have Miss Fabulosity, Kimmy is here. We have the chic daddy of the year, Joe, who is also here with us today. And Talisha will be coming in a few moments or so. So ladies and gentlemen, I am your host. I am Renford, Mr. Bojangles, and this is Join the Chat, JTC. I want to just welcome all of our subscribers, all of our viewers from all over the world, here in Canada, the UK, the US, Gatineau. We're just going to give everybody some shout outs, you know what I mean? So we are here. Kimmy, Andre, Joe, how are you all doing this afternoon?
You're doing great, feeling great. It's good to be back in the chat, I was out for a week and feels good to be back. The sun is shining. Last time it was all snowing. But we are for grateful. New day, new opportunity to talk what's on my
That's it.
mind. Yeah.
Joe, you were also MIA last week. How are you doing? Or 2 weeks ago?
Happy to be back. Glad that spring is in the air. Enjoying this warm weather, and just glad to be back with you, beautiful people.
That is. And Miss Fabulosity. Kimmy, we had
Hi.
a great conversation 2 weeks ago. We decided we're going to have our own spin-off show, the Kimbo Show, and we're going to do our
Look,
thing. And we're going to make our money on the side while these guys have that. But right, how are you doing today, my girl?
I am a little manic, just a little bop right now. But you know what? I'm so happy to be here. This is my favorite day out of the week when we get to come together and join the chat. So I'm blessed to be here. I'm happy I made it, and I'm feeling fabulous. So
Yeah,
let's do it.
you got a little new hairdo going on today. I see you.
Right?
I see the bangs.
Right? Thank
I see,
you.
I see it. So once again, we just want to welcome everybody to join the chat. Once again, this is not a platform where we're trying to just deliver solutions to everyone's problems, but we're giving you an opportunity and a forum to vent your frustrations, to have conversations, to bring forward perspective on a range of matters that are happening in society. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been 1 year since our lives have been turned upside down. New protocols have been put in place, shutdowns, lockdowns, curfews. Yet we are still here and we are still standing. So, what the topic of today's conversation is 1 year later, how have you progressed? So, we want to just turn this, let everyone think about the different ways that they've progressed in the last year, while the whole world has just been turned upside down. So my first question that I'm going to just direct to everyone, I'm going to throw it to Andre first, and then I'll go to Kimmy and then Joe. But I want to know, what were some new hobbies or new interests that you found yourselves doing in the last year? I know in the beginning of this whole situation, uh, flour. You couldn't find flour. Everyone turned into a baker. You couldn't find cooking utensils. Everyone was making cupcakes and cake and this and that. So, what were some of the new hobbies or new interests that you found yourselves doing in this last year? Andre, we'll kick it to you first.
Well, some of the new things, first and foremost, was physically running. I was by myself doing more outside thing like running. I normally just play football, but run with the wife. We go on more walks. Also, I play more. I did like video games. Like a couple. I played more video games for sure. Also, cooking. I think I kind of now before the pandemic. As guys, we kind of get a lot of blame from the females sometimes that we don't help as much in the house and we use work as an excuse. But being home now, kind of get to get more tick off in a positive way because I help more in the house. I was in the kitchen a lot more, so I think it kind of allowed me to grow more as in the sense of a family, in a family type of living with the wife at home. And then I'm not gonna say we're more healthy because we're still eating a lot of junks too, but we were running more often and also praying and stuff like that. We're actually having more devotion at home versus where we're programmed to have it maybe once in a while. We have to do it more often, especially in the beginning, like in the March, April, because that time we didn't really know what was really happening and how we are what to expect in the sense of what I can do from when I go outside. And for example, we were coming home, we take off our clothes at the door and leave it there and then wash our and all that kind of stuff, kind of bit paranoid. So I think more running, more activity in the house from my hand, and meditating more and reading more scriptures, so it's closer in the spirituality in the sense of that.
Yeah, let's swing it over to Kimmy. What interests and hobbies did you start doing during this time that maybe you weren't doing before?
I definitely got closer to God, I find, in the time, and had the time to actually dedicate time to growing on my journey. But one of the biggest things that I started doing in 2020 was TikToking. And TikTok, I'm telling you, it is just little bursts of creativity. You dance, and I was like, yo, I'm seeing these young people doing these dances, like whatever. And I was like, yo, I want to do this dance. So then I'm like, you're scrolling, you see all these funny things. So I started TikToking in 2020, and I love it.
So sorry to cut you. Is TikTok a app or is it like a YouTube?
Oh
Or is
yeah, it's an app, and it takes a lot of your data. There is a lot of
oh,
controversy about TikTok. I know the dangers, but I take the risk. And but yeah, it's an app, and then there's like little dances and little comedy skits, and you can do all this different photography. So there's something for everybody on TikTok. It's lovely.
So I want to know this. How many takes does it take you before you put up your final product?
Well, you know what? When I was at work, I would use my break time to TikTok in the bathroom, right? To like stay up for my overnight. So instead of me, or else I'd fall asleep. I was dozing off, looking like, every 2 minutes, I'm like, you know what? Let me get up in the bathroom, set up my little camera thing, and just keep on recording, recording, recording. So if I learn to dance real quick, I'm like, okay, bop, bop, bop. And then I'll try a different filter. And then I'll do the dance again. You start to learn the more you do. Sometimes I'll post when I'm learning it, and my facial expressions, I look like a mad woman. So sometimes it takes me a few. Sometimes I don't do too many. It's all fun though. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, I was working it in that bathroom, yo.
I was going to comment on your backgrounds when I see you on the TikTok, but I mean, you just explained where you are. So now we know she's in the bathroom. So if you're thinking she was, she just confirmed now that she is.
Yeah, the women's machine in the back with the little turn dial. You were seeing that was the majority of my background for the most of my TikToks.
I just didn't want to assume. Well,
that thing's mashed me up a few times too.
Anyway. Let's talk it over to Joe real quick. What have been some new interests, some new hobbies that you found yourself doing over this last year?
I think we definitely a lot of things go into priorities. Spend a lot of time with the children over this time. You get a lot closer when you're spending that full work day here, as opposed to dropping them off at daycare and then coming home. When you think of that, you really only get a few hours with your children, and it's kind of scary. You're up at 6 o'clock. They go to daycare at 7:30. You pick them up at 5. They're in bed by 7. It's 3 hours a day. So diving into that time was really good for our family. I also started reading a lot more, and definitely picked up my physical activity. Turning 40 next month, so I can't just be putting on the COVID-19 20, 25 pounds. Can't do it. It's bad for my heart.
I get you. So listen, you're talking about spending more time with family now. Did you realize before that you were spending such little time with your family? Did it take this series of events for you to realize, like, I'm not spending a lot of time, and that time is actually very valuable, and I should cherish it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think you always know in the back of your mind, but what can you really do? You really have to go to work. You have to pay the bills. You have to do these things. But I think what COVID did for us was really put things into perspective. Do you need this big house? Do you need this type of car? Do you need this XYZ? And when you realize that those things don't really make you happy, and it's the people around you that you want to put the quality time in, like, it's different when you're 30 years old and you think differently. Now I'm 40 and I have 3 children, and I'm thinking about grandkids. I want to be around to take care of their kids, and so your mindset really shifts on what's important. And I think, like, the time that you spend with people outside your immediate circle changes too. Now that you were afraid to hang out with them because the Health Canada is saying you can't do this, it really puts in a perspective of who you really care about and who you want to put those minutes in with.
Very
Mm-hmm.
true. So, hey, let's delve into that then. Perspectives. How have life perspectives changed or altered or been stimulated or been, I guess, reinforced? How, how have your perspectives been in this last year? I'll bring it back over to Andre real quick. Talk about
Uh,
your
to,
perspective last year.
to be honest with you, in terms of perspective, I think the perspective was always there, but as Joe was saying, because you already have that routine of work and stuff like that, and you can't just call in and be like, I take a week off this week, or you need time off or sick leave. But what the pandemic actually did is actually show you that, hey, listen, man, at the end of the day, if you find it that you wanna take a time off to go chill with your family or to better or to fix your home, you can do it, because what the pandemic did is, for example, a lot of people couldn't go to work. You could call in sick, and the boss people would understand that, because everybody was kind of in the same bubble at that time. So sometimes maybe what it shows is that, okay, at your individual home, you may be experiencing a tough time where you may notice that I haven't spent much time with the wife, or who have kids can say I haven't spent much time with the kids. As Joe said, it's 3 hours in the day because they go to daycare. Maybe the workplace wouldn't understand that. They'd probably be like, well, you have to find a way to make it. It's called sacrifice. But because everyone was in the bubble, I think from a employer perspective, they kind of understand more that, okay, then this person want a time off is because of COVID. But for us now, I think the perspective changed in the sense, again, as Joe was saying, that we don't need a mansion. We don't want to plan every year that, oh, we have to go on a trip to enjoy each other because we're away from where our home is. It's sure that you can enjoy being in each other's present more. You can find other alternative like play games, and also from a financial standpoint, you actually save more and have better management, money management, to say that, you know what, there could be another storm that we need to save towards. Normally people say it, but because they never experience it, know your experience, it is like, yeah, I really need to start save more or prioritize what I do with my money. I need to be more of an investor then. Before we used to just think saving is a thing, but now COVID kind of show you, okay, if you save, you can invest, you can go join the stock market because everything is going on crypto now and stuff like that. So I think the perspective now is changed more where you can say, you know what, if this what better my life, I'm gonna do it regardless. If I need to make a sacrifice, I'm gonna do it. It's no longer putting it up, no, maybe next week, maybe. No, it's showing that you have to live in the moment now. So that's where I think the perspective kind of changed now, where versus next week we do it now instead of next week or next month.
Kimmy, I'm going to throw this over to you real quickly. So Andre and Joe both touched upon things that you need, things that you don't need. They were able to realize that. So my question to you is going to be, are we living a more simplistic life? Is it a more comfortable life? Or is it just more appreciation? Or maybe it's a combination of all three. But what do you think things are now? Is it more simplistic, comfort, or appreciation?
For me, I'd probably describe it as humility, right? We start to get a little bit more humble to appreciate things more when we might not have had the time to think about, you know what I mean? How much we were thankful for certain things that we just got so used to and accustomed to. Um, I don't know. Like, yeah, you're forced to spend more time with the people that you're living with. And like Joe said, it's true. You spend most of your time away from the people that you live with. So COVID really gave me the memo. I really got to know my kids along with their full spice rack. And I'm like, where did these spawns of spice come from, Anyway, but for me, 2020 really woke me up. And yeah, I'm humble and all that other stuff, but I realized how much I wanted to change my life to own my home. You know what I mean? Build a legacy for my children. The beginning of 2020, I didn't know what the Ross I was doing. But I started to feel like, you know what? I'm always saying, if I didn't have to work full time, I do this or I do that. And if, finally I get to the situation where I'm not working full time and I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know now, whatever I'm doing, I want it to work towards owning stuff for my family, for our future, and building the life that I really, really want, as opposed to this slavery of survival that I've become accustomed to for a very long time.
Right. Yeah, you touched on a few nuggets there. I want to just go and jump into the chat real quickly. We had a comment here saying that people were thinking that, I think it's as you were talking about home ownership and planning for your future, but there was a comment of people are thinking of downscaling in this
Mm-hmm.
particular time. Realizing, I guess, that, like, I think it was Joe, do we need this big house? Do we need all three of these cars that aren't being driven anywhere because there's nowhere to go, and we're paying all these, we're financing these vehicles or whatnot, or, gas prices have gone back up, which I'm very upset with. I was really enjoying the low gas prices during the pandemic and the ability to go wherever I needed to go to in like 5 minutes because there was no traffic. But yeah, downscaling is a real thing. It's the real thing for right now. One thing that personally I saw during this pandemic was how much I was neglecting myself. Right?
Oh, preach, brother. Yes.
I was doing so many things for so many other people, and like this pandemic forced me to sit down and like really take a look at myself, take a look at my life, take a look at how I was spending my energy and spending my time, and I really realized I wasn't loving me. So I would go and I'd buy myself a little gift on Amazon, and I deserved it. So I just don't know if anyone else felt that way as well. I know you learned about exterior things. What were things that you may have learned about yourselves during this time?
I'll go first. Can I just touch on the person's comment that they said about downsizing?
Yeah.
I agree 100% with them. I'm trying to convince my wife to make a school bus house with me and travel Canada with our kids while they're still young and just homeschool them and work there. I'm trying to convince her. I'm like, let's go live with your parents. Let's buy the school bus. Let's build it. And then we'll just drive across Canada and then reach out to everyone across the country and just visit them all. Like that would be an amazing adventure. So hope she was watching this right now and it takes me up on it. But sorry, what was the question that you're asking?
You know what, just to add a little bit of spice into your plan, I think that's a great idea, Joe. I concur with you. You know what? You don't even have to go the school bus route. They have things called RVs nowadays, and they're souped up. You guys can
no way, man.
And take some of the equity, buy a nice souped up RV, and then she can be comfortable. Maybe get one with a massage tub in the back. But I'm with you, man. Just travel the world and visit everyone.
Yeah. So no, Joe, Ryan, that's not the thing. You want the school bus so you can homeschool the kids so they have a sense of that, they're in school. That's the key point, you know what I mean?
Andre, you're not working with the program. You're not working with the program. We're trying to give him positive encouragement. So when his wife watches back the video, then she will concur with him. And then she's like, you know what? Everyone else is saying yes. Yeah, okay, babe, I love you. I love the kids. It's a great idea. Let's try it. That's what I was trying to do, Andre. You're sinking my ship.
I don't say, okay then. Sorry, man. I thought you wanted the kid to be in school too, so you just use a school bus instead, But
Andre, I'll send you the link.
Yeah, but Joe, so the question was, what are things that you've learned about yourself during this time?
Oh, we are the master. You have to control your mind to control your body. And the more you can dig deeper and look inward, that's where all the answers are. All the answers are inside your body, in your mind, your body. They're not outwards. All these people on TikTok looking for likes, and you know what I mean?
Joe, I'm one of them.
I am too. I'm on TikTok too.
Shade.
I'm just as guilty, like you put up a post, it gets 100 likes, like, oh my gosh, I'm really happy today. But we have to stop looking externally for all these things that don't matter. We have to look internally for the things that we really want. And when you do that and you spend some time in your mind, you realize, and that's what COVID did, is like, you don't need these things or these people in your life. You don't need these false hopes or things that you're really not guiding for. If you're not moving towards something that's important to you, what are you living for? You should always be consistently striving to to go towards something, and that can be anything, and like you can get me going on this topic, but it doesn't matter what you're striving for, as long as whatever you're striving for makes you happy.
Amen. Amen to that. Amen. So, I mean, Andre and Kimmy both talked about faith and meditating and devotions and coming closer to the spiritual higher entity, the Lord. So, just to kind of piggyback on what Joe was saying, so, you know, the things that we really need are found within us. How has your faith increased over this time, Kim?
My faith has increased because, for one, I got the memo that I was not living in alignment with who I am internally. And so once I started, and that was a big thing for me too with like TikTok, right? Because like you said, Bo, I was spending a lot of my time and energy on a lot of things that I really had no control over. And, you know, my heart is big, so I was exerting it everywhere else but myself, right? So for me, when it came back to like getting my own memo and checking myself before I really wrecked myself, living this exhaustive, lethargic lifestyle, when internally I am oozing with excitement and energy, and I like to make people laugh and feel good and just gravy, you know what I mean? I'm human gravy, chocolat show. And I had at times found ways to, you know, feed my soul a little bit, but really I was running on empty fumes. So TikTok was a really small area of time where you could get creative. But what it did for me was spend some time knowing me, you know, and doing little things that I love. And then it was inspiring me to do more. And then situations started rising like this, to join the chat. These are the things that I'm called to do. So I personally, in my spiritual walk, let go of my stubborn will. And I said, God, let it be your will. You made me. What you want me to do here? You know, you guide me, you send me. I feel like I should be doing something more, but I don't know. So just send me in the direction you want to go. And that's what I'm doing.
Good for you. That's awesome.
Thank you. Good for you too, Joe. And by the way, just to touch on the school bus thing, y'all don't even know. Y'all think about big clunky school bus and chup, 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 and all this other business. What they're doing with school buses these days, I wouldn't have believed it unless a friend of mine told me about it. My homie, shout out Ali Captain Masana, wants to do a mobile barber shop. I hope you don't get mad that I talk any business. But he's like, you know what? I'm thinking about maybe getting this school bus. I was like, school bus? Why? Like, it's so bumpy and blump, blump, blump. He sent me this video of this gal. She buy the school bus for cheap. She dig out the whole bus. She interior decorated it the way that she wanted. And she lives like how Joe was living. And she's selling it. I was like, that's what they doing with buses? RV is 90s now, bruh. RV is old school. You are making your own thing now. The own thing, luxury school bus.
They're just too expensive.
You know, I will be honest. Yeah,
the new one's like $250.
I saw another gentleman who. I saw another gentleman who took a school bus and actually made a mobile restaurant, like you know like the chip trucks and stuff like that. Yeah. And he was selling the Caribbean food out of it, and it was like it was a dining thing too, right? You set up the benches so you could actually sit. It was I had all the colors, you know. It was dope. So yeah, I'm not knocking the school buses. I was just trying to help Joe get his movement on.
Literally, his movement on. Yeah, well, for me, from an internal perspective, really. I don't think it kind of chip in until maybe like October there, you know, where it kind of show that sometimes you have to be really aware of what you wish for, you know. Like for example, I want to do plumbing, right? I was working with a guy, and you know, my wife would be a constant reminder, like, "Oh, Dre, you're working towards a license." That was the goal from 2016 to get my license, and I'm like, no, I would delay being registered or to change my sponsor, and I'll be like, no, I just want to learn this trade more. So when the time comes for me to go to school, I know what I'm doing, and what you call it, I'll just go to school. Like I'll be eligible for school, say September, then January, March, and then I can do my test. So let me just accumulate all of the hours and know what's up. And then September, October, I start to come into play like, okay, now you actually learn or you kind of master some servicing of that nature and know some codes. What about your license? It's not about your license anymore. Like you just put it on the back burner like that. And it show you have to be more adamant, you have to be more persistent, you have to push towards that. Yes, you can set goals, but don't just tell yourself that, oh, I just want to learn, I want to learn. What if it takes 2 years? And I was working with this guy for like 18 months, I think. Yeah, 18 months at the time. So it showed that sometimes you have to remind yourself, and it's good when you show you who you have in your corner too, to that really check for you, because sometimes you may forget, but the person is there to remind you. And also from an internal perspective, I realized where I was a bit selfish, where it showed that, okay, then it used to always be about me pre-COVID, and then now it showed that I need to be more considerate of the close person next to me feelings also. So it kind of made me do an internal check to say, okay, then I need to be less selfish, be more proactive when it comes towards achieving a goal, and don't get too comfortable at a certain spot because you move from A to B. You also need to go to C, D in order to complete Z, right? So I think I was a bit more, I don't want to say lazy, but I kind of get comfortable as I think I make one step further in life, where you show me that, no, there's many more steps to go. You can't just take things for granted and take things lightly, and you can't assume that the other person next to you is good because we are laughing and yes, I progress. You know what I mean? So that what it kind of did for me in the sense of internal. Before, I think I was okay. There wasn't much thing I was doing, but in the sense of being more proactive and trying to achieve my goals. And when I talk it may follow you, because that's exactly what I was doing. Just gaining more experience, but to what end? To what, you know what I mean? To what end of which means you have to actually push, and as you accomplish it, kick down more barriers, kick down more doors, don't get too complacent. So
it sounds, Andre, like you become a lot more self-aware during this time, but and you said it a few times and some things resonated. It seems like you developed a lot of consideration for others. So tell me how your wife is loving your newfound consideration.
No,
Yeah, man.
it's even getting better since 2021, to be honest with you. It's like a snowball effect.
Just for the record, ladies and gentlemen, Andre blushed. He turned to the side, which means I put him in an uncomfortable position. But it's all good. This is what we do.
No. It's not uncomfortable, to be honest with you. It's just like there's so many. When you say something that's good and you have, and because it's, or you put it now, it's something that's very true, or you have 1,000 thoughts come to your head one time. Like, I can say this, I can speak it in French, I can speak it in Portuguese, patois, but it's like, which one am I gonna say to let it come out? But I think, how you put it now? What was the question? How is my wife loving me? You said.
How is your loving the consideration, the newfound consideration that you've developed? You said you're cooking, you're making food, and then you're not just making the food. You guys are going out and taking walks, and you're burning it off just so you can come back in the kitchen. And then when you come back after a long walk, you guys sit down and have some prayer and some devotion and some meditation, and you rub her feet, and all of these things. So I was just trying to figure, I know Valentine's was nice for you, but I just want to know how your wife is liking your newfound consideration.
To be honest, she have this Kanye smile that she put on. Sometimes she's not the best of expressing herself verbally. She's more an action person, and whenever she have that Kanye smile, where the smile come like all the way around here, then you know that something good is going on. When you come home and she can tell us, and she can say, let's go to bed now. It's 10 o'clock. It's like, really this early to cuddle? Normally it's not that, because I'm not the cuddler, but now she realized I'm in the group where she can suggest I'm not a cuddler. So now she realized, Dre's more considerate now. So now she can bring that offer more often, and It's just give a good vibe, a good environment, and I'm just grateful to see what the rest of 2021 and the rest of pandemic have to bring, because kids is in the making, and that's another good one too. Actually form a family, because the kids is actually what define a family or what create the family. A man and a woman can be together, but when you have the youth now, that's the family right there. So I know we have the fam, we're trying to get the illy part, the ILY part in it. So yeah, man, she's loving it and she's happy, and she just see herself as an example now, and I'm happy. I'm very, 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 very.
I'm loving to hear, just the fact that your relationship is getting stronger. Joe, it's great to hear that your family dynamic is growing and being stronger. You hear a lot during this pandemic of relationships, family that have broken apart because they were forced to deal with each other, forced to deal with their issues. So it's great to hear the positive accounts. So I really, really thank you guys for that. Let me ask you, can you guys tell me anything or things that you had to purge during this year, during this pandemic? What have you had to get rid of, whether it be friends, whether it be materialistic things, whether it be thought process? Let me know some things that you had to purge during this time. Go ahead.
Can I just give a quick shout out to those that have joined the chat up in the comments? Big up to Inspire, Live, Grow. Thank you for commenting and interacting with us. Yes, we are on Instagram. We are at Join the Chat 1 on Instagram, and I am the Real Kimmy Diva. That's KIMMIE Diva 13. Follow us. Shout out to Sharon Sweetness. Thank you, my love. She loves my TikToks. Shout out to Roy Adventure Roy. Love you, babe. Thank you for interacting, you guys. And thank you for joining the chat.
Listen, Kimmy, what are they saying, though? What are they saying?
Okay, so I don't know if you guys can still see me when I go like this. Can you still see me or no?
Yeah, man, we're seeing you.
I can see you in all your fabulosity.
Oh, dripping. Okay, so Inspire, Live, Grow says, are you on Instagram as well, Kimmy? So I gave the Instagram handle for Join the Chat 1 and for the Real Kimmy Diva 13. Roy Adventures Roy says, your TikToks are awesome. Thanks, babe. And by the way, guys, I love my TikToks, whether I get one like. The most I've gotten is about 35, but I love them. I'm like my biggest fan. It's sick. And Sharon Sweetness says,
you're 30 out of the 35 likes?
Yeah, that's right. And I don't discriminate. And Sharon Sweetness says she's a professional TikToker, LOL. I don't know about professional, but Inspire, Live, Grow. Being a digital nomad is trending these days, less of the 9 to 5, which is a really good point. And she also, or he, I'm not too sure, or both, I don't know, also says, I've learned to listen to God more. So that's what's happening in the chat right now.
Yeah. No, we thank you for that, because we're not able to see the chat here in studio. So thank you. But yeah, this is Join the Chat 1 on YouTube, Join the Chat 1 on the Instagrams. Like, we're doing it. Throw us in any topics that you have, any comments on topics that we are discussing. Let us know what your opinions are, what your perspectives are. There might be a point that one of us has said and you want to kind of chime in. Feel free to chime in. And if you are brave enough to come on screen, but we also have a link as well where you can enter our virtual studio, come on in and join the chat with us so we're able to hear your view and have some honest conversation. So thank you for that. Did you want to talk on the point or?
Yeah, so talking about letting go of stuff, I had to let go of a lot of my old school boundaries and way of thinking. You know what I mean? I had to really bring it down and reflect on where my energy was going and where it should be going. So I had to let go of a lot of baggage, a lot of the drama, a lot of weight. These days, people are really, well, at least the people in my life, they were really heavy when it comes to energy and not being like-minded when it comes to goals, and you know what I mean? Kind of inspiring your dreams and really having like a mutual fruit exchange, as opposed to the whole like, here's all of my fruit, and I don't get any of your fruit. So I needed fruit. Yeah. So I let go of a lot of kind of uninspired people, you know what I mean? And fill the juice jug, you know, get me excited. I don't want to come off the phone and be like, oh, you know, I need a drink now, or I'm not motivated to do what I want to do no more. You just womp, 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 womp. Nothing juicy. Everything is dry. I have to say, listen, I can't take this call anymore. You know, I can't. I won't.
I know what you mean when you're having those, when you look at the phone, you know who's calling. You're like, no, not today. Not today.
No, not today. For real.
Yeah.
Oh, what on this? So that means I'm one of those people then, because some people have been calling, and I don't hear them pick up on. So that's what it. Okay, then I understand you. Thank you for telling me.
Oh, whatever. You know we exchanged fruit, Andre. You know we got good fruit, and I call back.
You know what? That's a great point, though, as you guys are talking about that, because, you know, I mean, yeah, we might be screening calls or whatnot, but there's a difference between being available and being accessible, right? And just because we might have some free time to ourselves doesn't mean I have to pick up a call every time, right? This might be the moment I need for myself, you know, but hopefully people are more like you, Kimmy, and they actually do call back. I know sometimes I do forget, and it might be all 3 days later, and I'm like, yo, I'm returning the call. You called me the other day, like, yeah, I had a flat tire. I was hoping you could come help me. Oh, is it fixed? Yeah, it's fixed. All right.
Bye.
I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that because sometimes when I'm home, it's a free time. But as the iPhone users act as if their phone is like the best phone in the world. It's always fully charged. It's like, you know, it's flawless. My Samsung, my Android, sometimes it needs charging. So when I put it on the charger, I tend to forget it sometimes. So that's why I miss a call, and I do call back the next day because I go to work and I'm like, oh my God, can I call back this person? And a lot of the times my family members, to be honest with you. I have a brother named Adrian. Sometimes I feel bad. I always miss him call him back a day or two after. Sometimes my old man too, but him understand because I always call him in the morning thing. But a lot of the time it's not that I'm screaming in the body call, just that my Android need charging and it need to go time alone sometime. That's why iPhone users, all right? So that's the reason why I miss the calls, to be honest. Yeah.
That's awesome. Hold on. There's another person in the chat real quick.
Johnny.
Yes, Renro Roy said, I purged people and material things. So declutter, right? The mind, the environment, and everything. I hear you, girl. And it's true. The minimalist lifestyle, people breaking it down, and the less stuff, the less distraction. You know, what's her name there? What's her name on Mary Kudo? You know, tidying up. What brings you joy? Hold it, roll it, don't fold it. You know, spark the joy and all that other stuff. So everybody's on that tip, and we have the time to do it. So get rid of the shiitake. I hear you, girl. I hear you. My personal space has been bumped up to the top of my list too, and just getting rid of the junk, you know? So thank you for commenting.
Let me come to Joe with this one right here. So my question is, now that we know people had to purge things, tell me why it is that it took for the pandemic to happen first to purge. Did we not realize that we needed to purge these things before? Did we not want to take responsibility? Did we want to hide? Were we comfortable in the mess?
No, we're consumed by consumerism. You know, Christmas, and then what's the next thing, and then what's the next thing? You know, what's the next thing? You know, like, and I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else because I buy my kids Christmas gifts, and then Valentine's Day comes and I buy them something for that, and then St. Patty's Day, Easter, and then it just like keeps going and going. So like, you're always buying things. You want the best life for your kids, and you try to buy them what you didn't have. And we're continuing the cycle of consumerism, basically. And which I've gotten to a point in my life where I'm really trying to give my children the experiences I didn't have, as opposed to the things I didn't have. But you're still, only human. I can only do so much at one time.
Right.
For me, to be honest with me, I just think it's more, as I say, everything slowed down. So because it slowed down now, you get more time to kind of act. As Joe was saying, like, there's no outdoor activities, there's no obligations to do. For example, like whether it's birthday parties or someone inviting you to a dinner or a group meeting or a gathering for a group. It was not basically you alone a majority of the time, or who you're living at home with. So it kind of show that, okay, then all these thoughts that I used to think, oh, now is the time I can act on it. Let me see, okay, by the end, so you start to give yourself a realistic time frame to say, okay, then, when the world comes back to normal, if whatever normal may be, if it ever happens again, you start to tell yourself, okay, at the end of the tunnel, let me see how much I've actually changed since I have the chance now. So it was more like a testing yourself experience to say, okay, then I don't have any excuse to make. No one is inviting me to a birthday party or get caught up with, oh, should I get a gift for this person, or, oh, I'm not want to go, or should I have a barbecue because this person keeps something, maybe it's my turn to do something. All those obligations that was external are kind of like, they were minimized, they were shut down by default, not that you wanted it, but regardless, it's just trying to find time to make time go by faster too, in the sense to say, you know what, I had a problem being selfish, maybe now is the time I can probably fix it with one person that's close to me. I have a problem saving before. No, I can justify because where you're gonna spend your money to go, which concert, which mall you want to go, so which event, so I just think it's just because things kind of slowed down a bit and there was less obligation. You kind of start to make the obligation maybe about yourself and trying to see where you're at the end of the pandemic, really. So that's what I think kind of make people more able to purge certain stuff now, to be honest with you.
Now that things are reopening, people, like we spoke about an appreciation for the simplistic things. We spoke about the value of the energy and the spaces that we have. We have spoken about how time is precious and it's not always promised. Going forward with our newfound revelations, do you think that it's going to be easy or hard to sustain them going forward? Or do we get back into that muscle memory because now, okay, the clubs are going to be back open, the movie theaters, the barber shops, the gym, the this, the that, all these distractions that were there before, they reopen. We're allowed to partake of those things again. How hard is it for us to sustain our newfound revelations that we've experienced over this year?
To be honest with you, man, again, it come with turf. Turf is with turf or with different age groups. For example, the teenager, 18-year-old, 19 or to 25, maybe they look at it where they're bored and they want to experience that life. Oh, I was 23 years old when I last went to the club, or 24. No, they want to just experience that. Oh, I didn't get to hear this music in the club, so I just want to go to experience that. Whereas I don't want to use stereotype, but like, for example, 30 or over now, we probably just realize, you know what? COVID kind of showed me that priorities are in place. And once a 30-year-old gets into a groove, it's kind of hard to take them out of that groove. So for example, I can speak of myself, going to the movie theater is probably, before I wasn't really excited to go, but I'll do go because me and my wife and our sisters, we used to go as a group. We want to go just for a fun time. But now we're watching stuff on Netflix and all that. It's like we accept the substitute now. And again, the key point is like, we can save. Why we need to do all of that again? So I think it's our age difference where you have the young one just excited, just want to go outside just to say that we experienced it. We went to the club, we went to the movie theater in our group, or we went shopping on the mall. And so I think it's just the different generations maybe want to do it more. Whereas, for example, like people like me now would be like, you know what? Finally, I got it right. At 20, I was struggling to develop this positive habit. Now I finally catching the groove. There's no way I'm gonna let society let me fall back into the old ways. So I think it's harder for more responsible or older people, 30 years old, to fall back into the whole running up and down, going out, dressing up, late night lifestyle. No. Some of us been wanting this opportunity to grab it, and I think some of us have. It's been a year, man. So it's hard to go backwards to me. That's what I personally think.
Joe, let's kick it to you, man. How do you maintain the newfound gems that you've been able to experience over this last year?
It's just what's important now. It's that simple.
Yeah, so you switched.
Yeah, and like to kind of touch on Andre's point, it's like you get into a groove now. I'm almost 40. I like to do these things. Those are important, and I have to touch on Kimmy's point, like at the beginning of the show. She's talking about creating a legacy for her children. I mean, and like people think I'm 40 years old. I have this job. I don't like it. Like I don't want to I want to mimic Gary Vee, but like we're young. You know what I mean? 40 is like not that young. You know, like when you're 30, you're like, oh, like 40 is so old, but I'm here now, knocking on the doorstep in a month. It's like I still feel young. I feel in better shape than a lot of people or that I've been in my 30s. And I think that when you prioritize what's important to you and you start to attack those goals or ambitions or whatever you do, the other things that people don't align with you, you know, that weight that's heavy, weight's not heavy on your back when the people that you're hanging out with are encouraging you to go towards your goals. It's that simple. And the more you shed those people away, things get brighter and opportunities get bigger. And I'm speaking from my own experience over COVID. I got laid off. You know, I was making no money. I was staying at home with my kids, and I was like, okay, I need to do something. I went to work somewhere for 7 months for free and said, I'm coming to work with you till you can hire me. And I got a new job, and like I'm underqualified for the job. The guy took an opportunity on me, and I'm grateful for that. And now I work so hard for him. I work weekends. I work, and it's not about like, oh, I need to get paid more. It's about I need to get the job done because I love what I do, and I get to talk with amazing people and talk about their businesses. And you know, I'm grateful for these opportunities, and that's the most important thing. You know, like I like jujitsu. I'm important about jiu-jitsu. I want to launch a podcast, and all these things need to tie back into each other because I want to create a legacy for my children. And if I'm following and being truthful in my path on everything I do, there's no failing. The podcast can suck. I can suck at jiu-jitsu. I could lose my job, but I'm being honest with myself in everything I do. I get up to work and I'm happy and I'm honest. There's days that I suck at my job, I feel, but you know, that's learning. That's when you're leaning into the pressure of getting better. You know, like you're a coach, Ren. You know, when your kids are sweating and they're doing suicides, they hate you. But when it's the fourth quarter and the kid nails the three-pointer to win the game because the play they drew up, they've been working on for 6 months, worked at that one moment, it's all worth it in the end.
Yeah, and then on the other side, when it doesn't work, they blame me and they curse me. And they don't want to be around me. But
no. But not if they're working hard. You know what I mean? Like I know what you mean. But like I've played and coached on teams that like shouldn't do as well as they should. And if you're working hard every day in practice, you know, going to work can mean like when you go to work, that's practice. You know what I mean? It's practice for when your next job is. Andre, you're practicing. You didn't want to be the plumber. Something in your gut told you, no, this is not right. You know what I mean? Something was telling you in there, and you're like, I'm holding off to do this, but I need to think about making my next move.
Yeah.
You know,
and even forget the game. Like our boys right now are in the gym practicing, right? And during this year, we were fortunate to be working out of a private facility. So we only shut down for about 6 weeks from August till now.
Yeah.
Just that in itself is giving them value. It's giving them a place to go, giving them a place to expend their energy. It's giving them a place to feel belonging, right?
Can I jump in on that? Can I jump in on that, Ren? Like that's you as a coach in your organization being resilient. Like, no, we're not going to fold and like close and not practice till someone else says we can. You guys found a way to get it done. And no matter what side of COVID you're on, you did an amazing thing for those young children. I think they're 16 and under, you said?
Yeah.
Those young men or young women, I don't know who you're coaching, needed that outlet. And that was probably healthy for them. You know what I mean? Like if you're not pivoting in COVID, you're dying in COVID. And and I'm talking about as a business owner, you know what I mean? You have to pivot and make your business stronger, or you're not going to survive in this.
Yeah. Kimmy, we're talking about switching our circles to be able to maintain the newfound glory that we're in. And you have spoken about it to extents that you had to let go of people and let go of energies. What are things that you're tangibly doing to maintain this pathway that you're on, that you've discovered?
I would say the number one thing I'm doing is listening to my body way more. When I'm doing this, this is how I feel. You know what I mean? When I do this, this is how I feel. And so I'm trying to do more of the feel good stuff as opposed to that lethargic routine, always trying to catch up, womp, womp stuff, which I've been surviving off of for a really long time. You know, like Joe mentioned, I love jujitsu. I don't personally do the jujitsu, but my daughter does it. I do the Muay Thai. And I love going and beating the daylights out of my partner, my sparring partner, or out of the bag and those focus pads. And I just love it. I come out of there feeling like the baddest bee on earth, like Beyonce. You ain't got nothing on me, Beyonce. Maybe in the bank account, but you know what I mean? I feel bad when I come out today. You know, I feel good when I'm able to have fun and cook with my kids and do all these little things. So I don't think I could ever come off track because I've touched upon that feeling. You know, I know what feeds my soul. I know what feels good to me. I know what brings the stress. I know what brings the anxiety and the worry and the all that other stuff. So even though it'll never fully disappear, I've learned quite a bit this past year how to manage it a little bit better. And I am ready to shed it. I'm ready to shed it. I'm ready to let it go because these same people, I've been around them for how long? Them are helping me. Them are lifting me up. Them will pull me down. Me can't get pulled down. It's time to raise up, you know? So I'm excited about the journey and I'm enjoying the steps.
We will definitely get the subtitles and join the chat in their future episodes. So when Kim decides to go into the patois or go into the Guyanese slang, everyone will be able to understand and be able to participate and hear her opinion on what's going on. I understood it fully, but I'm thinking about the audience.
My bad. I get passionate.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. That's just who you are. But as you were speaking, there's this recurring theme that just keeps coming up in almost every one of our episodes, and it's the topic of mental health. So almost everything that you spoke about was you taking care of your mind, taking care of the mental health. And one thing that I've been grateful for in this year is the conversation of mental health. The conversation of depression, the conversation about counseling, about needing counseling, about going to counseling, about just not having it all together has really surfaced and really bubbled. Have you experienced the same thing, Joe? Have you found that mental health is a conversation that's being spoken about and that conversation is more accepted nowadays?
I think COVID definitely shined a light on it. And I think the results of us being in lockdown is probably worse than the actual infection itself. I think the suicides and drug overdoses that are happening are close to or surpassing the number of deaths for COVID. I could be wrong, so please don't go at me in the comments or anything like that.
No, you're right.
I think that we have to look at both sides of it. Yes, we want to keep people safe. We want to do all these things, but we weren't prepared for this. Our government wasn't prepared. So I think when you say a sentence like your government wasn't prepared, you really have to look at yourself and go, what am I doing to take care of myself? Because let's really face it, we're all individuals on this earth, and you have to take care of yourself first before you can help other people. And by having good mental health, good physical health, it enables you to take care of your family better and your neighbor better.
Can you tell me, what do you think governments or organizations could have done to have been better prepared, or to prepare people for the mental health aspect?
No, I don't want to answer this. I don't know if we had a pandemic plan. I don't know if that was part of it. I'm You know, I just think that you have to take care of yourself, and you really have to worry about number one, and that's the people inside underneath your roof. That's who you have to.
Forget organizations. It's a self thing that we have to take a huge responsibility on.
Yes, yes. And the more the more you're able to take care of yourself, the more you can take care of other people. You know, we really have to work to take, like, I feel as Joe Doherty, I need to take care of myself first and foremost. And when I do that, I'm a better husband, I'm a better father, I'm a better friend to other people. And if you could disagree with me, but think of single moms who have a bunch of children, and they're doing all these things. They're working 3-4 jobs to take care of their children, and then they're running themselves down, and they have a breakdown. That doesn't help the 4 children that they have, who don't have a mom to take care of them anymore, and then they go out into group homes or anything like that. So it's a far-fetched example, but those things really do happen.
It's not that far-fetched.
Yeah, well, I know
I'm one of them. It is not that far-fetched. I got very easily caught up in trying to keep up with the Kardashians. You work, you're doing all the activities. I'm doing it on my own, working 40 hours and exhausting myself, where I don't have that energy that I naturally do, from trying to live that rat race lifestyle. And 2020, it gave me the memo. Listen, babe, if you don't start filling your fabulosity tank with good fruit and taking care of yourself, you ain't going to be no help to your kids, your family, the homeless homies out there, the people I love. I ain't going to be no help if I ain't here, So I definitely got that memo, and I am. That's another thing that's going to keep me on track too. Listen, I've been doing this a certain way all my life. Here are the results. Let me see what I can do to start switching it and shifting my activities in a better order to make myself fabulous and healthy.
Yeah. Andrea, I saw you unmute your microphone. Did you want to say anything on this point? So on the topic of just, have you experienced more conversations about mental health during this year?
Yeah, well, I hear more on the radio, and even on my house we discuss it. But I think for me, I kind of had a mental problem too, in the sense of lack of self-control, So for me, I experienced that, but I'm actually on the verge of overcoming. But I don't want to indulge too much, because for me, I can't look at one day and think one day is no. You have to have a body of work to say, okay, it's 3 months past and I didn't do this, or the thing that used to put me in the bracket of lack of self-control. So until like a few months pass, then I can indulge in it. But for me personally, I've experienced that, and I'm actually overcoming it right now. And it was one of you, and to be honest, it was actually one of the podcasts, the last one you guys had, that I actually watched it and realized, wow, the help was right here in front of me. So I'm grateful for this journey, to be honest with you. And the mental issue is very serious, and the thing that people forget sometimes, the mental issue can come from in different forms. It doesn't have to mean that you're struggling inside of your head. It can be something physically lead to you to start to doubt yourself. It could be some outwardly that causes it to be inward. So I think it caused a lot. During this pandemic, it was more notable because NBA players coming out in February last year saying they struggle mentally and stuff like that. They have depression. And then during the pandemic, you can hear people on the radio shows saying that, yeah, their experience breaks down. They don't understand what it is not to go inside the studio, setting up their studio and stuff like that. So it's sure that mental health is not only with homeless people or single mom. You don't have to be in the worst situation to be mentally. People who are well off too struggle mentally, So I think the pandemic kind of showed that, yeah, a lot of it's a big issue. It's not just physical health. There's mental problem too, dear man.
100%. Yeah.
But we can fix ourselves. That's what I wanted to say earlier when you asked the question about the government. It's all about the individual. If everybody should fix yourself, the world will be better. But if you're going to expect somebody to fix it, to be honest, maybe that person is a lazy person, but you have to fix you. And the only thing I think the government can do, what COVID shows now, the government can help people to ascertain the basic needs to stable housing, can give a real tax break, can actually give you every month. They can give us that money, because for years we've been paying tax And what I think happened is every government planned for a rainy day, and there have never been a pandemic like this. So if for over the years you guys been putting away for an emergency, finally there come an emergency, you guys have it in place. So I think they can assist people way more, not to come in my house and fix me the individual, but from a basic necessity standpoint, like providing you with the school and the free tuition and the housing, all of that. They can do it, man. Trust me. For 100 years, they never have a pandemic like this. So, where's that money? You know what I mean? So, that's what they can do.
Hey, well, that's an honest conversation, and that's a real view that I hadn't really thought about. But yeah, so I thank you for that, Andre. And it just seems like every single time we do one of these initiatives, the time just goes by. I could have this conversation all day and all night, so I can't wait till the snow melts a little bit more, and we have people in the backyard, and we light up the barbecue and drink a juice and thing. What what I would like for everyone to do is, I'll start with Kimmy, go Andre, go Joe, as we just kind of close out. Tell me the thing that you are proudest of about yourself during this year, and it could be anything other than TikTok.
Well, you know what? I'm proud that I've made it. All them things they did taken away. I had my girls. My girls are beautiful. I still have friends and family that love me, that support me. And I'm just proud of getting the memo. Like Joe said, I'm turning 40 in January. I'm proud of getting that realization where, hey, I can change my life and love every minute of doing it and just fall back in love with myself. I'm fabulous. I love me, and I'm going to start acting that way. And I'm proud to say that, I'm a survivor.
Well, for me, to be honest, yeah, for me, for the past year, what I can say is more to be more considerate of others, other people feeling, not to be more selfish. That's one. And so I can say it's a progress, but I have to say, 13 days now without touching a spliff, that's big, because before when I will have consecutive days without smoking a spliff is maybe obligation, cause it, meaning I may be in another country, or it's not nearby where you can get it. But to know that I choose to be in front of it and take a charge on and be like, yeah, I don't want it. I don't even think about doing it, to be honest with you. It don't even tempt me. There's no urge. It was like, yeah, it's been a mental struggle all along, because I know I've been wanting to stop. And every time when you get high, you realize, and I don't really want this. Next time I won't do it. And then you see yourself do it again, and it's like you're living a lie. But no, to know that you're living a truth where it's actually happening now, where you're sober, you can see things clearly. You just want to attack all of the thoughts, the positive thoughts that were in your head, all the plans and the goals you have. You just see yourself just wanting the days to go by, taking it one day at a time, to be more patient. So everything is kind of like falling in place. But I don't regret the past, none at all, because at the end of the day, it brings you to where you're at now, and you can look back, and it also helps you to can share the experience with other people who are struggling too. So I give myself that thing for the year to say, yeah, it's kind of self-realization and taking control of my downfall, which is tell myself I can't burn a spliff today, and then I see myself burning a spliff today. So now 13 days free of that, and it's going to be many more days to come. So I'm grateful for that one.
Congratulations, brother, and keep up that discipline, man. Keep it up.
Yeah, thanks, man. Respect.
Joe, we'll close out with you, man. What is the thing about yourself that you feel the most proudest in this last year, progression-wise?
I've learned that consistency over time is really what gets results. And consistency doesn't mean perfect over time. I've had a lot of challenges that I've dealt with in my own life, but I've always maintained to come through them. And I understand that the more pressure you put on yourself in a good way to push yourself through, the better it is. And you have to stay consistent. And I'm really proud of how well my wife and I worked together throughout this whole time. Someone going from two incomes to one income, just staying on top of our finances, and no real major losses. Thank God everyone was healthy, but just like we worked as a unit, and I'm happy that we're not fighting or separating over COVID, because I love my family and I don't want to lose the time with them. So I'm really proud about the bond that we had together now.
Yeah, you have a lovely family, and you're doing the right thing, brother. You're doing the right thing.
Appreciate that.
Bolo.
Yeah.
Sorry. Inspire Live Grow in the comments says, well done, Andre. Then there is Renro Roy. She says, we're too busy to realize everything we owned, and it took being confined to our house to see all our material things and realize how unnecessary it was. So we purged. Great point. Makes a lot of sense. And then Den Denise, shout out, girl. Thank you for joining. She says, I think sometimes we get so caught up with how we wanted things to be versus accepting the realities of our current situations, which helps no one really. So that's what's popping in the chat right now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for commenting.
Inspire ILG. Thank you very much. Yeah.
One thing I've dubbed this whole year is, with this pandemic and whatnot, is that it was the great exposer. Everything that seemed to have been undercover was brought to the surface in this year, and we are in a position and we are in a place to see the truth. What we do with that truth is 100% our responsibility going forward. So once again, this is Join the Chat. This is the place where every single voice matters. This is the place where every opinion is important. This is the place that we empower you to express yourself, a free and open space to speak and to be heard. Next time, especially if people are writing long comments in the chat, I would love for you to just embrace us with your voice, embrace us with your presence and your video. Hit the link, come into the studio with us, and join the chat. This is us signing off for another week. We will see you back in another 2 weeks. 14th countdown starts now. This is Join the Chat. On behalf of Kimmy, Joe, Andre, myself, Renford, Mr. Bojangles, we salute everyone. Wish you a great week, a great rest of the weekend. And in 2 weeks, we'll be back where you can join the chat.